Hello, this is a Jay the Shark and Friends
And Russell.
and Russell podcast. And on today's show, we're talking to freelance copywriter and awesomely nice person, Amy Bensema. Now, I'm not sure if she's related to Benzema, who plays for Real Madrid, but if she is, that'd be awesome. I should have asked her that. Originally from the good old US of A, Amy first came to Asia teaching English in Japan. After a backpacking hollybob to northern Thailand, she decided that life in Thailand would be the right path for her. And 12 years later, Amy is here and a massive part of the Phuket media scene. From her copywriting skills to being the admin of the biggest foodie Facebook group in Phuket. Not only is Amy one of the best copywriters in Phuket, she's also one of the nicest people we know. We like Amy. She's cool. Enjoy the show.
Raging porn star, otherwise known as...
Whoopsies.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Amy.
Hello,
Hey,
Jay.
Amy.
Hi, Russell.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Yay.
Yeah.
So we are in Starbucks. In other bucks are available. In Central, we're allowed out.
We are indeed.
I have noticed that neither of you two have a mask.
I do. It's on the table under my car.
it-
I'm using it as a coaster at the moment.
It's in my purse.
Okay, as long as it's allowed in your purse. Amy,
Jay,
who are you?
who am I? I am. You don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I am Amy Bensema. I have been here for 13 years. Variety of things I've done on the island since I've been here. And
How long? Sorry, 13.
13, yeah.
Where did you come from? Where were you before? You
I
came
was
to
in
Phuket?
Japan before I came to Thailand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What were you doing in Japan?
Spent 5 years in Japan teaching English.
Cool.
Had a great job. Cushy holidays, great
Yeah,
pay,
yeah.
house, car, close to Tokyo, all of it. But I got really, really sick of teaching English in that environment and atmosphere. So I thought I'd come to Thailand.
And was that just the city nature of things, or
No, it was just the
relentless monotony of it?
Yeah, the relentless monotony of it.
Yeah, fair
Like it
enough.
was time to move on.
Okay. Okay. So background-wise, was teaching sort of your background, or was it
No.
just something you just fell into?
It's something I fell into. I graduated university with degrees in English and Spanish.
Okay.
So English was literature and writing, and Spanish like language and linguistics. And
Whereabouts?
I went to school in Iowa.
Iowa.
State
Hey, there we
University,
go.
Midwest,
Yeah.
middle of the United States, in the middle,
Yeah.
in the middle.
Okay.
And when I graduated, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I never knew what I wanted to do as far as school went.
still don't.
Like English and Spanish was my thing, so that's why I was like, I'll major in
Why was
this.
Spanish your thing? Did you have a Spanish boyfriend?
No, I didn't, but the language came very easy to me, and so when I needed to pick up extra,
Boys.
extra, well, that too, classes and things, I always chose Spanish. And then I spent time in Mexico. I went to school in Mexico.
So now there's a is Mexican Spanish slightly different from Spanish Spanish?
It's very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
It's like how can I say, American English
And English
versus
English.
like the Queen's tongue.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's completely different. Pronunciation is different. Slang is different. I mean, obviously overall there's the same meaning. But I suppose if you ask someone from Spain about Mexican Spanish, they would say, that's dirty Spanish.
Yeah, in the same way that if you ask someone from the UK about American English, they would say, oh, rah, savages.
Savages. Yes, it's true.
It is wrong though.
But either can understand the other,
Yeah,
be fair.
exactly.
for the most part.
So what got you to Japan?
Okay, so yeah, graduated university, had no idea what I was going to do. I graduated in December. I didn't have the traditional where you graduate in May because I went a semester over.
Okay.
And so...
I'm looking at you blankly because was that just because you were clever?
No, it was because I took some time off. Yeah.
Fair enough.
See,
I had no
rookie
idea.
mistake. I would have just said, yes, I'm that clever.
I'm done.
We can go back and edit that bit if you want to say you're just clever.
No, it's okay. I didn't know what I wanted to do, like, actually, and so I actually applied to take the test to be an immigration officer.
Oh, wow, okay.
To work with immigration in the United States with like Border Patrol.
Yes, yeah.
And
So-
I didn't want to do it, but because I could
Hold
speak
on.
Spanish.
Okay, so when you wanted to be a immigration, was that just there stamping people with passports, or did you want to be on the front line
With the
your
gun.
AK-47, all, you know,
Carried it.
I was going to say
Stamping-
black-faced up, but that's probably a
Yeah.
terrible thing to say, isn't it? I don't mean
Stamping
black-faced.
passports, Jay. Stamping
Balaclava.
passports.
Yeah, balaclava
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
is
yeah.
probably
Stamping
what-
passports, like working within immigration. And like I didn't want to do it, but all of the other people I graduated with who were also with Spanish degrees were like, let's just all go take this test together. Let's all go do
do
it.
you have much immigration in Iowa?
Yeah, there's loads.
I was going to say, because that borders Mexico, doesn't it?
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
but we have.
Does it border
Iowa.
Canada?
It's up that way. It's closer
up
to that way.
So it's a terrible job to choose as an immigration officer in Idaho.
Iowa.
Same place. Do you have potatoes too?
No.
I could
corn.
go this all day.
Corn.
Corn?
Yeah.
Oh,
corn.
okay.
It's a
But
sawtooth
no, so I
National
didn't want to
Reserve
do
in-
it. But the thing is that I didn't want to do it. But I went and I took the test and I didn't pass, thankfully. Like I didn't pass, and then I was like, okay, well, like I did that. I went with a group of friends. We all took this test, and then I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was waiting tables. I had just graduated.
Sorry, how did you fail a test where you just have to stamp a passport?
No,
Did you
no.
miss?
I wish it was that. It was a very lengthy exam,
Okay.
all in Spanish, like
See, I just had a flashback.
essays
Oh.
and
Essay, what? All your friends were there?
Hey,
Hey, come on, this is great. I'm sorry.
no, it's good.
It's been a long,
I've
it's
also
been
had
a
a
long
flashback.
week.
Do you remember Spitting Image?
Yes.
Well, the bit with Gorbachev and he's stamping the papers.
Yes. Just with your head.
Sorry, that just took me back to
No,
that.
It's okay.
So your test was in Spanish
Yeah,
and you failed.
and I failed.
So you're obviously not very good at Spanish. That's what we're getting at.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess maybe
okay.
I don't know.
Should've-
No, but my heart wasn't in it. I didn't want to do it, but I did it. I went to take the test.
But luckily, Japanese and Spanish are so similar that I can understand the theory.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know, I failed my Spanish exam. I
I'll
want to go to Japan. And speak and teach English.
yeah, but actually, I ended up having a lot of Peruvian friends in Japan, so I was still able to speak Spanish when
there
I
you
was
go, you
living
see.
in Japan.
So
Yeah.
why? So you failed to immigrate. Sorry, failed. You
didn't pass.
You didn't pass. You made a mistake on your Spanish exam. Arriba and all that.
Uh-huh.
And then what? So how long before then were you just kind of fizzing around, didn't know what to do, and then went?
Yeah,
oh.
I was waiting tables. Like I was still living in my university town, waiting tables, and a friend said to me, "If you have no idea what you want to do, but you want to travel, you want to have like a decent job that's fun, you get a good income," she was like, "Go to Japan and teach English." And so it just so happened that my university town had a sister city in Japan,
Oh,
and they
cool.
were looking for an English teacher. And so I went. Like I went to Japan and.
Did you get the job first, or you just flew out to Japan?
No, I got the job
Oh, okay.
first. I got the job first.
You
actually,
passed that
sorry,
test
that's
then?
the second time. Actually,
Oh.
sorry, that's the second time. The first time straight out of university, I applied through a company and went to Japan to teach English. And it was like not in a proper school. It was like, they call them JUCO. Like
Call them what, sorry?
JUCO. So basically, I would work from 10 in the morning until like 8 or 9 p.m. at night. And then all through the day, like when students would finish their normal school, they would come for extra English, one-on-one lessons, group lessons, that kind of thing. I was in Japan that time for 3 years. And I went back to the States because my mother fell ill, and I wanted to help to take care of her.
Sure.
And maybe it was like a year and a half later, I was back in my university town, like scrounging around, hanging out, trying to figure out life. And then that is when I had the opportunity to go and teach English through their sister city program. And then I was there for... almost 3 years. It was like 2.5.
Did you like Japan?
I love Japan. Japan is great. I highly recommend you visit there if you've never been.
I've been there once for 3 hours.
For 3 hours. No, you need to leave the airport.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
military
didn't. Yeah, I
airports,
didn't do
yeah.
that.
Out of interest, is Iowa your home state?
Well, it's funny. Yes and no. I'm going to cough.
Go for it. We're gonna
all right,
sit
you
here
can-
quietly while you cough, so no one will notice.
Okay, so I was born in North Dakota.
Okay.
And growing up, we moved...
Is that where Mount
all-
Rushmore is, or is that South Dakota?
That's South Dakota.
Yeah, I always get those two confused.
Very good, very
Little bit
good.
And why do you,
Further-
It's
why do you have,
further north.
and why the fuck are there two Dakotas? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, there
right?
are.
Yeah.
It's like there's two Carolinas. But no,
Yeah.
I was born in North Dakota, and growing up, because of my father's job, we moved all over the States. Like
Fargo.
I lived in, Fargo.
There,
is in North Dakota.
yeah, there we go.
That's a great movie.
Oh, the
great,
series,
yes, it
the
is.
series was better,
The
but
series
yeah.
is good as well, yes.
Sorry, I digress.
No, but, so yeah, I kind of lived all over the United States growing up.
So Midwest or just literally everywhere?
No, literally everywhere. Okay. And then we settled in Iowa because that's where the home office of my father's job was.
Right, okay.
And so we moved to Iowa from Georgia, I think.
Okay.
And I showed up with a southern accent
Yeah.
and said like y'all and
Y'all.
things like this and ostracized from day one.
I like that southern. I like that. I mean, I like the Carolinas and I like that area. I must admit, I think it's beautiful.
It
Texas.
is. Have you been?
There's a lot of things I like about Texas.
You've been to this?
I lived in the States.
Did you?
Yeah, I lived there for a year. I lived
No,
in.
you didn't. You were in Florida.
No, I didn't live in Florida.
Did you not live in
I lived
Florida?
in Virginia.
Oh, no, yeah,
I
yeah,
did
okay.
I lived
Yeah,
13 miles outside of DC, so we're really close to DC.
Yeah.
Dad's job was in, well, I can't tell you what he was doing, but he was a secret agent. But then we did a couple of trips, and one of the trips we drove from Virginia right down the coast all the way to Florida to go to Disney World, Disneyland, whichever one's that side. And that we went through the Carolinas. I mean, it's just beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the other trip we did was we flew from Virginia over to San Francisco, and then drove from San Francisco across. So we did Death Valley, all that kind of Grand Canyon and all that stuff.
Yeah, beautiful
Beautiful.
stuff.
Yosemite Park. I love it. I think it's a gorgeous place.
is.
Don't say that. I was supposed to be there.
What, in Texas?
No, I was supposed to be in Yosemite last month.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you know that
Yeah.
Yosemite is just one big volcano?
Come again?
Yes.
It's a dormant volcano.
It's a dormant
The whole
volcano.
thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much the whole thing, yeah.
There you go. Anyway, so Japan. What did you like about it?
What's not to like? No, I liked the. There's a very cool mix of old and new in Japan. So you can be like walking down a very busy street in Tokyo with like all the latest electronic equipment or cameras, whatever, and you'll see a little old lady in a kimono, shuffling down the road. And like I really liked that about
It's a unique
Japan.
blend.
Like when I mean it's such a cool blend. And when I first moved there, I fell in love with everything. Like Japanese people are so kind and so I don't know. They're
You
Is
just
it
got a good
clean?
vibe out of the
yeah,
place.
really good vibe.
Sorry, is it clean and
Yes.
spotless like Singapore? So it's that kind of cleanliness.
Maybe not as clean as Singapore, but it is very.
But Singapore, I mean, as much as I like going there now, it's quite sterile. It's,
Yeah, Japan is not like that.
Yeah,
but they've
okay,
got
cool.
a great recycling system for trash. Like you get four trash bins, and you can only put certain things out on a certain day, and you need to write your name and your house address on your trash bag. And
So
if
they
you
can
have
follow up.
If
Wow.
you have put something out on the
Wow.
wrong day,
That's good.
the garbage man will come and knock on your door and give you back your trash bag and say it can't go out until the
That
next
happened
day.
to me in the UK once when they first started the separation, and I'd
it's
put
getting mental now.
yeah,
isn't it?
and I must admit, I put the green bin out, and I put some salad that we hadn't had, but it was still in its plastic container. Sorry, plastic. And they left it, and they put a little note saying sorry, but that was when it was first starting. But putting your name and address is a really good idea.
Yeah.
What's that? Some drugs you're squirting in your throat?
It's throat spray.
That's good stuff. Is that the camel sound stuff? Yeah, that's
it's
great. That
good
is.
stuff. But no,
Yeah.
yeah. So Japan, I'll give you another example of Japan. I had a house in a car.
You had a house in a car.
That's a
house
big
and-
fucking
and-
car or a small
Or
house.
it's just a camper van. I mean,
Yeah,
either way.
I wish it was a camper van. A house
Yeah.
and a car. And one night I came back from the grocery store, and I parked my car like in front of my house, and I put my wallet on top of the on the roof of the car, and I left it there overnight. Next morning it was still there. Same thing. I lost my wallet on the train once.
There's this wallet thing's an issue, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right. Not any. It was when I lived in Japan, and it was returned with all the money, all the credit cards, everything.
Cool.
Like, Japan
That's
has
nice.
that like very like safe kind of vibe, and people usually tend to do the right thing there in those situations.
And obviously, being in, well, we'll get to how you got to Phuket, but you have a lot of relationship with the food industry here in Phuket. So what was the food
Yeah.
like in Japan?
food is great.
Were you blogging and doing stuff then, or were you
No.
just teaching the English?
Just teaching English. I like the food a lot. I tried everything. Like I tried whale and horse, like raw horse sashimi, all the sushi, that kind of thing. The food in Japan is great. Really good. Really, really good. All the restaurants are good. Like all the little like street stalls are really good. Family Mart is great. The food you can buy in Family Mart in Japan is like gourmet.
Isn't Japan, don't they have the vending machines to get ties, or is that, am I thinking of somewhere else? And pants.
And pants,
shirts and stuff.
underwear.
Yeah.
That's pretty mental, isn't it?
It's a little bit left of middle.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
idea, though, I guess. There's many
Well,
times I've
yeah.
spilt coffee on my white shirt, and then
Thought I could do with some pants.
Russell, I just have to point out, you've got a bad shoulder at the moment, haven't you?
I do.
So your arm's in a sling.
It is.
In a very, I don't want to use the word gay sling, because that's probably gay is probably not the right word, but it's a very gay sling. And
It was
also,
a
if you've got,
99 baht sling.
I know, but if you've got a sore shoulder, easy for me to say, why have you got such a massive watch on? Put your watch on your other wrist, because you can't you can't look at it and tell the time.
I didn't
I don't see
notice
the
that.
It's this huge watch that you can see, but you can't see the time on it, and it must be heavy with your bad shoulder.
It's not,
Just
it's,
doesn't
it's
make
not
any
the
sense.
weight of the watch, but I do get your point in terms of.
What's the time, Russ?
I don't fucking care.
So 3 years teaching English in Japan.
Yeah, a total of 5 actually.
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah,
all
the time before.
together,
Back
yeah.
again.
So then, what was the move to Phuket? How did that come about?
So, I suffered a little bit of a tragedy while I lived in Japan. My mom passed away, and I obviously flew home to the States to be with my family. And then when I came back to Japan, I had some extra time, extra vacation time, and so I took a trip to Thailand, like first trip ever by myself, backpacking around, kind of going through a lot of grief and healing, etc.
Processing.
As you do. And I really loved Thailand. Like
Whereabouts were you backpacking?
I went north. I was in like Ayutthaya and Chiang Mai, Mae Hong Son, all of
The whole
that. I did
northern
all
area,
of
yeah.
the north, and then I spent some time in Bangkok because a Japanese family that I had grown very close to actually were living in Bangkok at that
cool.
time, and so I fell in love with Thailand. It helped me a lot at a time when I needed
When
a
you
lot of
needed it.
help, actually.
Sweet. Okay.
And so I went back to Japan, and I think the next time I had like a lengthy holiday, I came back to Thailand and I did the South. I did Krabi, Koh Lanta, Phi Phi, all of that kind of stuff. Never Phuket. I never came to Phuket. And then I think there was one more time that I came on holiday here, and then my contract in Japan was getting close to being finished, and I wanted to change. And I thought, how hard can it be to teach English in Thailand?
Sure.
And so I started going through all these like teacher website, job offer websites, and there was a school in Phuket, which I'm not going to name, which was hiring. And so I thought, why not? I'll go there for 1 year and teach English. So that's how I ended up in Phuket.
Why aren't you going to name it?
I didn't want to name the
Okay,
school.
fair enough.
I didn't
So
want
the
to
British
name the
International School that you went to. Joking aside.
Just out of interest, prior to going to Japan the first time round, was that the first time you travelled anywhere?
No, not
Okay. So
not the
you-
first
you-
time I had
okay.
traveled anywhere. I had traveled before, like around the States, through Mexico,
Okay.
Canada, that kind of stuff. So
Okay,
it
but,
wasn't.
sort of outside North America, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my first voyage into Asia. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And going on your own as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and I cried like a baby in the airport saying goodbye to my mom and my dad, like flying from Minneapolis to Seattle and then Seattle to Osaka.
Did you get much sleep?
I did actually. I did eventually, like when the
That joke was kind of
Yes.
wasted, wasn't it? A little
Sorry,
bit there.
yeah.
Yeah.
why I
Seattle
Sleepless.
sleep.
Yeah,
yeah.
sleepless
I
in
was hoping you was
Seattle.
going to jump on it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it was
dear.
so shit.
I picked the
thought
wrong
maybe you
person there,
edit
didn't
that
I?
out. Maybe you
Yeah.
edit that. No, I'm just kidding. But
So you did a little bit of teaching English at a school we shall not mention.
I did, and I actually only wanted to stay in Phuket for 1 year.
Okay.
The whole idea was.
And this was 13 years ago.
Yeah, 13 years ago. The whole idea was to be in Thailand for a year, get some work experience, have fun on the beach, make a little money to sustain myself, and then I actually wanted to go to South America after.
Nice.
Nice.
But what happened in living here, I hated Phuket for the first like 3 or 4 months I was here. I was like, I don't get why everyone finds this place so special. I was like, it's
Kind
filled.
of where we're at now.
Well, it was just like, I was like, it's filled with like, excuse my language, but a lot of assholes, and it's dirty. I didn't find the Thai people that nice. Like I had like a very like negative first few months living here, and then
I can understand that. Totally.
Unfortunately, and I think it's just got even worse, but Phuket is very much a bubble. And then, and you meet a lot of people here that, Phuket, the people here and what have you. And they carte blanche it as in it's Thailand in general, but it's not. Phuket it's the Wild West. It's just a bubble and of itself. Come off Phuket, everything's very, very different. The people are very, very different.
Yep, exactly.
And people outside, like people in Bangkok, Thai people in Bangkok will scorn about Phuket. Oh, the people there are rubbish.
It's just how it is. And it was really the first 3 or 4 months I lived here, I didn't like it very much.
No, I can understand. I spent a year before I really started to like it. And I just, sorry to interrupt your story, but I just think for me it was also, I was with a load of older guys and who were like 20 years older than me, and all I was seeing was that lifestyle of just kind of that traditional old white man's made some money in Singapore or Hong Kong, finance market, and then moved here and doing what they're doing. Yeah. I hated it. I wanted...
But then you met me and everything went rapidly downhill from there.
I got stuck here.
No, but I mean, it's funny that you say that because that's what happened to me.
You met me as well.
Well, yes, I did meet you and a few other people. But I ended up, I had some friends within my work environment. But then there was a girl that showed up, an American girl from California. We clicked, and through her I met a really good group, or together we kind of discovered this really good group of Thai people. They're still I call them the original gang. We're all still really connected. She lives in Bangkok now because of her husband's job.
Okay.
He's a Thai superstar.
Oh, cool.
And but then my entire experience changed because I had these really nice Thai people who a lot of them had traveled. They were well educated. They could answer some of my questions, about Thailand in general or rules or whatever here. And I felt like I had more of a support group. And then I was going to leave. I was still going to leave. And then one day, I was just looking at jobs on I think at that time it might have been the ajan.com website. And Banyan Tree was looking for a person like me, a person that could write curriculum, a person that could teach English, a person that could come in and help set up a resort-wide English language program.
I'm assuming for their staff, not the Banyan Tree School.
For the staff. For all of the staff in Laguna. It was all the staff in Laguna.
And what year would that have been? We're talking 2007-ish?
So I came here in 2007, so this would have been
2008, 2009. Okay, cool.
Because, 2008. So I applied for the job, and I had 2 interviews, and I got the job. And then I left the school.
Having a meeting with you at Banyan Tree, because 2008 was when I was doing the management training.
Yes.
And we had to sit down and chat about doing some training programs there. That's correct.
Training
programs.
About that. And Kathy was also in Laguna at
the
time.
Yeah, of course.
Remember?
Yeah.
And Ashley, Tosh.
Yeah.
So I think it was 2008.
Yeah.
So I worked at Banyan Tree for almost 5 years, and I did all kinds of. That was a great experience. That was my. What do you want to say? My foray into the hospitality industry, and I know that I was on the training side of it, but learned a lot about the hospitality industry, how hotels are run, met a lot of nice people, facilitated a lot of really fun English language programs for the staff, as well as training programs for the worldwide staff. We facilitated all these management programs, talent management programs and stuff. So it was a really great experience.
Cool.
What after that? As I looked to Russell I thought he was going to jump in, but he didn't.
No, after that, I moved on to work for a timeshare company.
Okay, so that's Amy's podcast. Thank you very much for joining us, Amy.
You know this,
Well,
Jay.
I think Amy and I had a chat. Actually, it was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
It was.
I wouldn't say we have a mutual friend, but we were mutually contacted by someone, and we had a discussion about it.
Yep.
I'm assuming we're not mentioning names here.
No,
we're not going to name drop.
So we all know exactly who it is.
Yep.
No, I don't think I've told you the story actually.
Oh, right, okay.
I think I've kept. It's like my other podcast affair that I'm having. I haven't really told you anything about it. I'm assuming. Well, I know which podcast.
Which podcast?
Which timeshare company did you work for?
I-
The good one.
Sure, the good one. But I didn't sell timeshare. I
Okay.
need to be very clear about that. I didn't sell timeshare. I was brought on to do social media, events, photography, blogging, magazines, all of that kind of
Promotional
stuff.
stuff.
So I just want to point out there are some good timeshare companies out there.
There
Just
are.
not
And there
Phuket.
are also some friggin' horrible ones which have ruined the timeshare industry for
It's
a lot of
true.
people.
It's true.
So although
To be fair, you could apply that to any industry.
no, you could do, but I think for the timeshare does have a really bad reputation.
it has a horrible
but
reputation,
actually when you-
especially here and in Bali.
Yeah, and in
Yeah.
Spain as
And
well.
in Spain, yes.
I know there's a reason for Spain and for here.
Yes.
Same company. But my parents actually went to either Banyo or one of the Laguna places, and they went through the whole 90-minute presentation, 4-hour presentation, and you get your free golf trip or whatever it is.
Yep.
And they actually worked it out, and they thought that the one for Laguna or Banyan Tree, whatever it was actually worthwhile because they were coming to see me all the time, and it actually made sense. But yeah, there's some horrible ones out there.
There are some horrible ones out there, but the ones I think within Laguna, as well as like Marriott Vacation Club. Good.
Yeah, and Antara as well. I think
Anantara,
pretty good.
yeah, they're high caliber.
Let's not mention the one that. Yeah.
The only other one that we haven't mentioned.
Because when I was working at the Village Coconut Island, were you at that company about 2000? Because I was there till about 2009, 2010, and that's when that timeshare company started to have
I
dealings.
came
And that's where I
in-
met Charlotte.
You were there longer than that.
I came
what
in
probably
after
was.
that.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
came in after that.
Well, it's like we're having a secret conversation. No
but
one understands.
Yeah, you weren't at the
okay.
Village Coconut Island anymore. I came in after that. Maybe the next, I don't know, like the next year or something.
Okay, so you're doing social media marketing for
Yeah.
kind of just so awareness on the social
Yeah.
side of things for the
Yeah, and
timeshare
that's
company.
actually how I started. Like, I'd go to events and I'd meet contacts, and they'd say, "Hey, can you write a blog post for me? Can you write an article for me?"
So that's when you started blogging, was at that time?
I really wouldn't say that I'm blogging because I don't have my own blog.
Started writing as a content
I
writer.
Yeah, that's when I started really doing like a lot of copywriting and content writing and social media management, that kind of stuff. That was like, whoosh, that was my foot in the door.
Cool.
And that's
no, there's even more after that because this company decided to, there was a bit of an economic turn down
Yep.
here, and I was let go. I was made redundant. It was a good deal. It was great. Like I got to keep my work permit active, my visa active, and I was paid out. So it gave me a bit of like leeway to do some stuff. So I had some fun helping Gordon with the Asian Super Yacht Rendezvous.
Yeah.
It was like before Cataracts had their own rendezvous and all of that. So I did some stuff for Gordon and did some like sub-editing at the Phuket News. Did some stuff for the Tiger. Was just doing all kinds of stuff. But then I was like, okay, I need like a real job. So I went and worked as a personal assistant for 3 years to a guy who has a company here. The head office is here. It's a diving liveaboard company. There's 2 boats in Thailand, but the rest are in all these like exotic locations around the world, French Polynesia, Galapagos, like this. But I still, during those 3 years, I'll make a long story short, kept doing freelance work, like content writing, copywriting, whatever. And one day I just got really fed up of being a personal assistant and I quit, and that's when I went freelance, and that's how it's been now for like the last, I think it's been almost 4 years.
And how are you finding that?
Well, as I say, yeah, COVID aside.
COVID aside.
Yeah. The last 4 years, up until 2020.
No, I was really very fortunate. I had no idea if it was going to work or if I was going to like have any jobs or make any money. But when I left my personal assistant job, I went through my entire email contacts and I blasted out an email to a variety of people and I said, listen, this is what's happened. I'm going freelance. I've worked with you before. This is my skill set. Like, if you know of anyone looking for someone like me, please let me know. If you need help, let me know. And then I had a friend arrive for a week for a holiday. After he left, opened the email inbox and I had like 100 emails.
Sweet.
All people needing like work.
So while you were sort of full-time employed as a PA,
Yeah.
but you were still keeping this sort of on the side, keeping
I
it.
had a side gig.
Yeah, no, it's the way to do it, right? Because in a similar way, before I went sort of full time with the dog training, I was doing other. I fell into Coral Seekers because of what happened to Stuart, and then
Yes, I remember.
and then from there got involved with the security company, which
Yeah, I
didn't
remember
really
that
want. I didn't want to do either.
Right.
But at the same time, I needed the security. I needed the
You
money.
need the money.
whilst
You need
I'm
the
slowly
security.
building
Yes.
up the business, and then when it came to let's do this full time, it's an easier run.
Yeah.
So no, I know exactly how that feels.
When did the Phuket Foodies page, what got you involved in that?
So
Because
that
that's the only reason I'm saying that is because a lot of people know your name.
a lot of people think I'm a food critic
Well,
or
that's
a
the
food
thing because
blogger.
people
yeah,
see
yeah.
that. I mean, and so when did that all come about, and how did that come about?
Okay, so Phuket Foodies is actually not mine. There's a lady in Bangkok called Samantha who has a PR agency who has a lot of food clients. So she has like Bangkok Foodies, Phuket Foodies, I don't know, Singapore Foodies, like all these different like foodie groups and websites and da-da-da-da-da. And she was looking for someone in Phuket to admin the group, to go out and do food reviews, just to help. And I was like, why not? It'll be fun. Like we all like food, you know what I mean? So it was like to go out to eat and that kind of thing. So that's how I became involved in Phuket Foodies. And that was like maybe 3 years ago. And so there used to be a lot of like work with Phuket Foodies where it would be like restaurant reviews. People would just call and be like, can you come please? Because we need the exposure and we think if we put it in this group, it'll be like a really good idea. And now there's not so much work, obviously, but like during this whole COVID time and, restaurants closing and all of that kind of stuff, I did my best to try in that group on Facebook because I assumed everyone would be spending a lot of time online I flooded it with like local restaurants, like, support your small local business kind of thing. In my neighborhood, obviously we were all locked down, so in the Rawai neighborhood.
That's down south.
Down
isn't it, somewhere?
south, yeah.
Down south.
Yeah, see, this is as far south as I've come.
Yeah.
Ever.
Phuket is
Really?
genuinely.
Oh yeah,
Phuket's-
we don't go down your way, darling. And in fact,
I'm on the wrong side of the
you are-
tracks.
you- yeah, you are.
Phuket is like Korea.
But
There's
it's
a north and a
split.
south.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
We are currently sitting in the DMZ. This is where people come to meet from
Yes.
either end, right?
No, it's
And
true.
we go
You're
our
allowed
separate
here.
ways.
It's true. But, the thing, I don't go to your neighborhood very often.
No, you shouldn't,
But
We don't want you there.
I do.
darling. We don't want curly-haired people in our
Yeah.
neighbourhood. We're curly-haired-ish. And gingerish, to be fair, which is definitely you.
But I like your neighborhood, but I'm not sure that the whole Chungtale area.
I don't live in Shantale.
You live over like near
I'm Yamu, baby.
Yamu. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
posh.
Yeah, that's nice over there.
yes, you're right, it
That's
is, 'cause I
very
live
nice
there.
over there, of course. The good restaurants over there too, right? Or not
don't,
Yes.
really.
I don't eat out much.
Do you cook?
Yeah, I cook a lot, and do you know, my problem
Badly,
is
but a
no.
lot.
My problem is with restaurants is I'm a cheapskate, and I don't like spending money on things that I can do myself.
Yeah.
I'm not a chef in any way, shape, or form, but I can cook a chicken breast and some salad and some
Sure,
vegetables. and I'm
of
happy.
course.
But I just don't like the whole. I mean, a lot of times I go out by myself or my kids, and it's
yeah,
easier
yeah.
to cook at home and have
It's-
food with them than it is to go out. There are some nice restaurants around there.
Yeah.
Monkey Pod we used to go to quite a lot.
Oh yeah, the coffee place.
Yeah.
Coffee
Yeah,
place
that's
is very
nice.
good. And the kids like the food there because it's not. They don't put a load of crap in their fried rice.
Yeah.
It's just rice
It's-
and whatever they
Veggies and
ask
stuff,
for, and
yeah.
that's all they want. And they don't have any other bullshit in there.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's good. And there's Lei Yamu, which is a seafood restaurant
Mm-hmm.
down there. I like it. The kids aren't so keen on it, but I like it. I like the floating restaurants for me. I know they're not liked
Oh,
because
yeah,
of all
no.
the
I
rare
like-
fish that are in there, but I think that to me is a great experience.
Those are fun. I like those too.
And there's another seafood restaurant that's opened down that area. You remember Lam Hin Seafood, I think
Yep.
is really good.
Yeah,
That's
yes.
got a lot better as well.
Yes.
There's another little place that's opened up. They've built some shrimp farms there, and there's another place that has opened up. It's blue and white.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it,
No,
but,
but I want to try that because that looked quite nice.
Yeah, I know the place that you're talking.
But yeah, no, I don't eat out very often. I
No,
mean,
you
I'll
just-
go and we used to go out and have burgers with Ruskins when
Yeah,
I was.
every now and again, it's like once every couple
But
of weeks.
I'm happy to cook at home.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that what shall I say, pre-COVID, my life was actually really busy. Like I had a load of clients. I was out and about all the time for work purposes, whether it was, doing food reviews, wine tasting dinners, whatever. I was out and about all the time. And so I didn't cook at home very often because I'm on my own, and I thought, like, I'm not going to make a big meal for myself. But this one thing that this whole COVID mess has brought back is that I'm cooking at home all the time now, and I love it. Like,
Sweet.
it's good in that sense. I mean, it's a bit of a hassle sometimes because I'm like, here I am, one person, and I'm going to eat the same thing for 6 days in a row. But I enjoy cooking at home.
I can do that. I can eat the same thing
Ditto.
every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. If I get something like chicken wraps is one of my go-to things. So I buy the breast of chicken, get my wraps, get my salad cream I have to have with it, get my jalapeno peppers, and I'll have that
through it.
for,
I can do that.
as long as it lasts. I'll keep on going, and I'm happy to have that every single day. But the other thing I started to do, because I also like to do pickling, and I also like to do salt curing. So this whole kind of, so at home my fridge is full of meats that are just dry curing at the moment. I've got pickles, I've got olives that I've been marinating. I kind of do all that kind of stuff as well.
You are a man of mystery.
Yeah.
Well,
He's been called a lot worse. But
Yes, I
yeah.
have.
But really,
Yeah, I'm really into that kind of stuff.
that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, the South Africans are liking me at the moment because biltong,
Biltong.
which is basically the
Yeah, absolutely.
salt cured meat. So I've been
Yeah.
making that, and they've been really loving it.
That's cool.
So yeah, so I've been doing that kind of stuff.
And pickling, you said? You
Yeah, I love
pickle
pickling.
veggies
Yeah,
and
so
that
I
kind of
do
stuff?
pickle
Hang on a second.
gherkins.
Whose fucking podcast is this?
Shush, Russell. I do pickled onions, I do my own gherkins, or wallies as I call them in England.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I love that. I love all that kind of old school way of cooking, and it was more so as well. It's about storing stuff without. I'm not sustainable, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I do my best.
Right, we
I
all
do as
do.
much as I can. But one of the key things is not using as much kind of containers and not cooking and using gas, and so the old school ways of curing your food and storing your food seems to be right. So I grow my own vegetables, and then so I've got sun-dried tomatoes, which are my tomatoes, which I grew, and then sun-dried them for a few days up on the roof.
Very cool.
Which is very cool. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
stuff like that. And also, I should keep going because I like this.
Yeah. It's all
And
about
the
you, Jen.
kids, it's great. The kids are seeing that.
Yes, of course it is great that your kids are seeing that
So
because
that's
that's
what-
going to instill the love of it in them and them wanting to do
Absolutely.
it as well.
Should we get back to Amy now?
We possibly should.
Go on then.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it's really hard to. You've been here 13 years on
Yep.
the back of a 1-year stint, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I guess the sensible question might be, what does the future perhaps hold for you? Although that said, given the climate at the minute, really, who the fuck knows? Or do you have any
Yeah,
thoughts?
no
or
one
ideas or
knows.
plans?
I've thought about this a lot lately because there is such an air of uncertainty right now, with clients, especially like trying to get work. Who knows what's going? I'm currently on the visa amnesty because I went out, came back in on a tourist visa, was meant to go to Malaysia 2 days later to get a new non-B, and the border's closed. So,
Timing.
there's uncertainty with the...
So what happens with that at the moment? So the immigration says, okay, well, we'll just have to wait and see.
I
Anything.
actually called immigration because I came back in on a 30-day tourist visa, and I got an extension on that. And then they announced this visa amnesty thing.
Until
And
the
I
end-
actually
end of July, I
called.
think, isn't it?
Yeah, July 31. I called immigration, and they were lovely on the phone. Like, couldn't believe it. I was asking all these questions. I have a lawyer, obviously, that I get, the work permit, the visa, all that through. But I was asking immigration all kinds of questions, and they were like, you don't have to worry right now. And they were like, we can't tell you what's going to happen
on
on
August the 1st, shit yourself.
Well,
right now.
Yeah,
You're all
but
right, love.
they were really lovely because they said, we don't know either. We don't know what's going to happen from, the end of July. We don't know if there's going to be another visa amnesty. We don't know when borders are going to open. So they were really nice. But yeah, getting back to that, the future, right?
Yeah.
I would live here for the rest of my life if I could.
Okay, cool.
I'm in my 40s now. I think unless, I won the lottery and could move to a villa in Italy or, the jungles of Costa Rica or something like that. I'm pretty happy and content here.
Okay.
I like Phuket a lot. I know that it has its good and its bad, but for
Well, it
me,
doesn't, right?
a year ago, I moved to the Rawai Beach Road.
Okay.
So actually, like I rent a little house. I have sea view, see the longtail boats from my house, and I've kind of tried to integrate myself into the local community. Like, really good relationship with the longtail boat drivers and the boat drivers and the fishermen across the street. And I love where I live, and I think that also probably enhances my love for Phuket because like I like the local community of Rawai. I like the fact that I can walk everywhere on the Rawai Beach Road to get whatever I need.
Yeah.
But yeah, the future, I'd like to stay here. I'd like to keep doing what I'm doing. I'd like it to be a little bit more financially viable than it has been over the last few months, but it's understandable because we've all been
We're all in the same
affected,
boat,
by COVID in that way. But yeah, I love it. I mean, I really do love it here.
Sweet.
Yeah.
When
Well,
sorry, you're saying what sort of cooking have you been doing at home? Have you been doing Thai food or have you been doing Western food?
So I actually, I learned how to make all my favorite Thai dishes. Like,
Perfect.
Oh, cool.
Which are?
Pad Kaprao, Kana Mugrob, what else? Curry. I learned how to make masamang curry.
Wow, from scratch or are you going to
from
find
scratch,
a paste?
From scratch, yeah. So those kind of things. But otherwise, cooking at home, it just depends. Like, I have a slow cooker, so I make a lot of
beautiful.
soup. Like, I'll just throw all the veggies and whatever meat is in the fridge into that and cook it all day. And sometimes it tastes great, and sometimes it doesn't.
That's cooking, man.
That's
Especially with a slow cooker. I mean, I slow
Yes.
cook in my oven, really
Yeah.
low temperatures, just so that. But no, I want to buy a smoker. That's my next purchase. So want a
nice.
smoker. Yeah. I've been wanting
Nice.
one for ages. Because I was going to try to make my own bacon. That's what originally got me into curing meats. Was I wanted to make my own bacon.
Right.
Well, that and cheese. Because my first. I'm going back to me now, aren't I?
That's
I will.
okay.
The first thing I ever did was to try to make goat's cheese. That was about 3 years ago. I started to try to make goat's cheese. And the reason being is I love goats. I love
Right.
goat's cheese, love goat's milk. And we found a goat farm and he had raw goat's milk that he was selling. And goat's cheese is so expensive here.
It's so expensive.
So I tried making it myself. Yeah.
And it worked?
The problem I have is I've tried it with different... I've tried it with rennet, which is basically animal cells from the intestine.
Yeah.
I've tried it without rennet and just using lemon juice. I've tried it with lime juice and I've tried it with vinegar. The problem I don't have is I don't have the culture. So what I'm actually making is basically more of a mozzarella kind of cheese. Rather, you need the culture to really get that goaty flavour, and that's what I'm not getting. So you need to go and buy the actual culture, the bacteria, to make it happen. And I haven't done that yet.
Why don't you just blend up a goat and put that in it?
Can
Then
you
get the goaty flavour.
blend up a
You
goat?
can get culture here, yeah. No, Chef Brian, who we should get on the podcast, because he's awesome. He says that there's a few places in Phuket that I might be able to get it from, but he definitely knows there's a goat place up in Chiang Mai. If I wanted to, I could go and get it. But I kind of then just got into the salt curing, so I kind of then moved on to that.
Interesting.
You mentioned a second ago if you'd won the lottery.
No, Amy said I was interesting. Can we just give that another couple of seconds, just so the listener can enjoy that bit?
You mentioned a couple of seconds
Thanks.
ago that if you won the lottery, short of winning the lottery and buying a villa in Tuscany or
Right.
or what have you, so taking that aside, what sort of things would be on your bucket list?
My bucket list. I would like to travel more. Like I've traveled enough in my lifetime, but I would like to travel more.
Anywhere in
Like,
particular, or just
you know what? I've never been to Europe.
really?
Isn't that just outrageous?
Yeah, not so much.
I've never been to Europe. So Europe would definitely be on the bucket list.
When you say Europe, it's like us saying I want to go to America, but America's huge, Europe's huge. Whereabouts? Is
Right.
there any particular? Because you mentioned Italy, obviously.
Yeah, I would love to
seems
go.
to be a place you
Okay,
want to go
I'd love to go to Italy. I would love to go to. I'd love to see London. I would like to go to Germany.
Really?
Yeah, why not? I have a really good friend that lives in Germany. I'd love to go and see her.
I'd like to do a lot of Eastern Europe, but
The-
and Germany.
Really?
But,
The
you know, I would,
Netherlands.
I've got no interest in doing Western Europe, but Germany aside. Yeah.
I'd love to do
I'd
it
focus on
all.
the eastern
You,
side.
you know what I mean? I obviously the way that we travel has severely changed now. But when you're like a uni student and there's this like romantic notion that you're gonna
Yeah.
put on a
Yeah.
backpack and spend the summer in the trains traveling Europe and that
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
weird
thing.
because you're right. I mean, I spent years working overseas and 6 months contracts and traveling to different places.
And just not
it's not
caring.
going to happen there, is it? My kids aren't going to grow up with that
No.
opportunities anymore.
No, they're not, are they?
Wow.
But yeah, so bucket list. Yeah, I'd like to travel more.
Okay.
And this is gonna sound like so ridiculous and so cliche, but I would just really like to be happy. Do you know what I mean? Just like happy with myself, happy with where I am, feel like I'm in a good place mentally, just happy, like content, you know, like that's on my bucket list to really get to that like place of like personal acceptance where I just feel like, whew, here I am.
Do you have a plan and a step-by-step goal to making that happiness?
No, I don't. I think about it a lot though, and I think about, you know, I often carry a notebook with me, and I jot ideas down as they come to
That's
me.
great,
Whether
yeah.
it's whether it's for work or just like random thoughts or whatever.
It's a sign of I do the same thing. My problem is I'm from a
Can't
creative
do
point of
writing.
view. That's what you do. But I have a notebook there, and a notebook there, and I then forget my notebook, and
Yes.
then another notebook comes in. That's why phones are quite good.
Yes.
I've got so many notes in my phone, but then stupidly I never go back and look at them until 6 months later. Oh, that was a great idea.
I prefer, this is why I prefer to write it down. So, I carry a notebook and I, like write things down. But no, I don't have a plan. I think, you guys talk a lot about mental health
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
in this podcast. And
Thank you for listening.
no, I mean I do listen.
Three.
I do listen, and I actually think it's really great that you put that topic out there, especially in Phuket, because
It can be very toxic.
it's very yes, it can be very toxic here, and it doesn't matter if you have a lot of friends or not. You can oftentimes feel very alienated, and so that
There's no
whole
outlet.
and you can't go to a counselor here.
No.
Like you can't. There are none. There are really
Yeah.
no options unless you want to go and have like some
Heavy medication.
or holistic hocus pocus. Like
yeah,
let's do Reiki. Like let's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
get
yeah.
rid of the bad energy or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I think it's really good that you bring the whole mental health issue up. Please keep doing that.
Oh no, thank
Like-
you. And we do. It's kind of a key thing for both. I mean, I started this podcast, and
Yeah.
I'm taking totally credit for it. I started this podcast. It's my name at the top of the
Yeah.
headline. You know,
Yeah.
in lights.
I'd argue that I started
when the
it.
film is, when the film is released, I will be
Yes.
the star. Russell will be about 4 people down. You want it to just be Russell himself. That's what we'll say on the credits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so- but no, the whole mental health thing is part of my. This was part of my process of dealing with it, be able to talk about it. But it's also, and the more that Russell and I have chatted about it, the more I'm learning about Russell's issues and my own issues and other people's issues as well that have come
Yep.
out. And I think it's great that it has happened, and we're happy to keep doing it. And if it sparks
Conversation,
one or,
if it
one or
spark-
two
or helps
people, even
people.
whatever, that's cool with us.
No, it does. I mean, remember, I think I messaged you that day. It was a few weeks ago, and I told you, I was like, I'm listening to your podcast, and it's making me cry. I was sitting at the kitchen table listening and doing other things in the kitchen, and I think it's really good that you bring it up,
Thank
because
you.
I think a lot of people assume, like, oh, you live in Phuket. You live on a beautiful tropical island. You have no cares in the world. You're at the beach every day. You're drinking mojitos every night, and people don't understand, like, as an expat living here, it can be very lonely. It can be very alienating. You have so many hoops to jump through to actually be able to stay here legally if you are not married to a Thai,
Yeah.
right? And so, and
Done
then,
that.
And that brings its own set of
well,
issues.
yeah, that brings its own set of issues. I'm well aware, but
You've been through it all as well.
yeah.
but like through this whole COVID thing, I feel like for myself, I've been up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and so I think it's great that you throw the mental health issue stuff out there, because nothing is ever going to get better for like you as a person or myself unless you talk about those issues with people who have actually like gone through it and experienced it and that kind of thing. So kudos to you guys very much for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the podcast. But I don't want to leave it on that note.
Yeah.
What else is on your bucket list? But thank you for just joking aside. But do thank you for that. It is something that, and if you look in the description of our podcast, I always put out there are some links to some mental
Yes.
health websites
Yeah.
that you can go to as well. And I always put those in, even if it's not about mental health. They're
Yep.
always there. So hopefully, if someone's reading it, they might want to click on it. So
Yeah.
Anything else on your bucket list?
Bucket list. In the event that I ever do leave Phuket one day, I would like to live in Chinatown, in a really big city, like whether it be like LA or New York. I've always wanted to live in Chinatown ever since I was a kid. Don't ask me why. I mean, I probably just stuff my face with dumplings every day. But like, I think I would like to live in Chinatown, just to experience living in Chinatown.
So the joke I'm thinking of, it was the Golden Child. Wasn't the Golden Child in Chinatown? Was it Eddie Murphy had to go and find the Golden Child?
The Golden Child, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
That was the joke
yeah.
I was looking at. It's not really a joke.
I was thinking Big Trouble in Little China, but
Oh, that's a good one as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah.
But
All
other,
those 80s films, there's always a Chinatown in the 80s.
there's always
Well,
yes, right?
it's just very.
I guess because a lot of them were turned into kung fu films, and that shows how xenophobic and racist I am, that I associate Chinese people with kung fu.
Yeah, but we all do, because
Yeah.
growing up, that's what was thrown in our
Absolutely.
face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just like,
And the question is it racist if it's true?
ooh,
I don't know, actually.
I don't know either.
But does that mean all private investigators have a dodgy moustache and a Hawaiian shirt?
Right?
Because that's how I grew up.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't
And
know.
if they don't, they fucking
Yeah,
should.
they should do. Oh, actually, have you seen the new Magnum the new TV series Magnum? It's
No,
terrible. Higgins is now a woman. No offence to women, but Higgins has become a woman.
Just
Because to have that political correctness, you can't have someone who looks like Adolf Hitler
Right.
as Higgins, because he did look a little bit like Adolf Hitler.
to be fair, he did actually.
Yeah, and I don't think
Yeah.
they have the two dogs anymore, because you're not allowed Dobermans because they're scary. So
Right.
they've got two Chihuahuas, one pug and one Chihuahua.
no.
I don't know if they've got that. But it's terrible.
It's
It's
just
just,
wrong.
not good. And he doesn't drive a Ferrari anymore, I don't think.
No,
Oh, really? What does he drive?
Oh, no, it's
probably a
a Chevrolet something.
Chevy Cruze, eco-friendly,
Electric
vehicle.
car,
vehicle.
an electric
Right, now
car.
we've totally gone off the rails.
That's okay.
Russell, any more of your great questions that you can
No.
think of?
I can't think of any questions.
We're not doing any
generally.
more flatness.
No, but I
that's
think
a
I
question,
should.
yeah.
I think I should interject here, because like in the event that my family listens to this, and at the beginning you were like porn star, we need
Well,
to.
to be fair, porn is how we got to know each other,
we-
right?
That's the first time I saw
Thanks
you on
for
the,
joining
on
the
the big
podcast.
screen.
on the big
What-
screen, right? Thanks.
Did you not tell your family that's what you went to Japan for?
I think I
Teaching
need.
English, sucky.
Yeah, there you go. No, but I think I was talking about. I had this extreme
Raspy
allergic
voice.
reaction this
to porn
morning.
stars.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Okay.
was like, my voice is gonna sound like raspy, like a porn star.
Oh, Amy's family, she is not a porn star. It
Thank
was a
you.
joke between Russell and I because we're silly.
Thank you.
And she loves porn.
She is a porn star, really. She's a total porn star. She can't hear this bit.
Oh, silly.
Amy, thank you very much for
Thank you,
meeting us
sweetie.
here at Central.
Yeah, thank you for
Lovely to see
having
you.
me. Really good to see you both.
And thank you for being our fourth or fifth listener, I believe.
You're very welcome. I
Something
enjoy
like
the
that,
podcast very much. I listen every week.
Thank you
Thanks.
very big.
On that note, we'll leave it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks,
you.
Amy.
Thank you, Russell.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, bye. Welcome to the outro. Amy, we're back at K9 Point Academy today because it's Monday.
Do we have to tell people this?
Oh, it's advertising for your place. If you don't want me to say that we're at K9 Point Academy, I won't mention it. But
No.
I thought the idea of doing this, because you give me your time for free.
That is true. As do
so
you.
I
You
thought
give me
I
your
would
time for free.
promote your place of where we are right now. But if you don't want me to, no, don't worry.
Well,
We're at Shark Productions Studio
Which is
in Shark Towers.
which is
So shut the up. And let's just do this outro because
And
you're
get on with
busy.
it.
Anyway, we're at K9 Point Academy. It's Monday. We recorded that podcast on Friday. I like Amy.
I do too, and it was kind of cool to see her. And I was trying to work out when you arranged the interview. I was like, oh wow, Amy, that'd be fantastic. Wow, I haven't seen her for crikey, like a lifetime. And was trying to work out where it was I would have probably last seen her. And then during the podcast, she mentioned about Banyan Tree, and I think that's my last memory of when I actually saw her.
Is that because you don't like her very much?
I like Amy a lot. She's very cool.
I thought she had a really interesting story. I love her little story of how she got here. and
Did
what
we
she does.
debate on the podcast
We
or
didn't do
post
we didn't
podcast?
any
Yeah.
what you're thinking in the podcast.
Having a chat, a discussion.
Oh,
Did we
okay.
discuss about the Phuket north-south divide, or was that after the podcast?
No, we did talk. Do you not remember the podcast we just did?
Yeah, it was days ago.
Yeah,
but
no, we talked about it.
But that's the point. She's in Rawai. I'm up in Chong Lei, and it's just unless you arrange to meet in the DMZ of Central, It's very
You
difficult
did
to.
mention this on the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But
just
and it's
repeating
true.
yourself.
But it's true. That's why I haven't seen her for so many years.
Maybe she's never been to Canine Point Academy up here in Chantilly area.
She hasn't, because she hasn't been up north for donkey's years either.
I don't think she's got a dog.
Or that.
One key thing is we should mention, if her family are listening to this again or have continued listening,
That her porn career was
her porn
epic.
career was amazing. I
Epic.
mean, Amy Does Phuket is the title, and it is just amazing. Some of the drone footage, man. Bom, ba-da-bom.
Apologies
Amy,
to
I do
Amy's
love her.
family.
Yeah, apologies. Amy's awesome. I do like her.
Yeah.
Right, we've got coming up. We've actually got people coming up that I can talk
We've
about.
actually got lined people up.
We've got one of the most coolest creative video companies coming up from Fat Mangoes.
Is that Sharp Productions?
Yes, it is Sharp Productions. No, it's Fat Mangoes. They're awesome. And then we're going to go down and talk to Summerley Boxing Gym as well.
Cool.
So we've got loads lined up.
Phantasmagorical.
Like us on Facebook, Russell.
Like us on Facebook.
Jada Shark and Friends.
Jada
Like us
Shark
on
and
Twitter.
Friends. JadaSharkandFriends.com. PhuketPodcast.com. That was it.
It's PhuketPodcast.com is the website. Phuket Podcast is the Instagram. And Phuket Podcast is the Twitter. And for some random reason, Facebook is Jada Shark and Friends.
Excellent. All of which is gloriously.
Do you want to promote
stuff.
Canine Point Academy while we're here? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening. If you want to be on the podcast, email us at jadashark@gmail.com.
Or go to caninepointacademy.com and check us out just for the hell of it.
Or you could email us at phuketpodcast@gmail.com, because I've got that. And I've also got Jada Shark and Friends and Russell @gmail.com.
Just in case people are like,
I don't know.
how do we get in touch again? It's so easy.
So easy. So easy. Thanks, Russell.
Cheers, buddy. Catch you
Bye.
soon. Bye.